We welcome you inside week 8 of the Ken Sparks Show. Carson-Newman falls at home to the Wingate Bulldogs, 29-16. Hello, everyone. I'm the voice of the Eagles Adam Cavalier, alongside Carson-Newman head football coach Ken Sparks. Ken, a day where Carson-Newman turns the ball over 5 times. Defense gives the Eagles a few chances to win late in the second half, but the offense falters with some 3-and-outs. Turnovers and the 3-and-outs and more inconsistencies out of the offense. How do you typify what's happening there?
I don't know. It's new ground for us. We've always been able to function offensively in a way that gave us a lot of success, and we're just really struggling with the offensive line. And of course, we got 3 freshman starters, and they're just struggling like crazy. And I've never seen Mike Turner as frustrated as he is right now. And we're just taking time about screwing up a play, and making sure it don't work because somebody is messing it up with the way we're performing, the way we're executing. And so it's not because they're not wanting to. I think they want to. I think some are still struggling with what it takes to be a college football player. And that's frustrating to see what we're not able to get done.
It's kind of led to a spiral effect. Noah Suber, who's been playing banged up, hasn't had a ton of time to operate. How has that affected him?
Well, it has to make it tough. Even NFL quarterbacks, when they think they're going to get sacked, they have a hard time getting it done. But with the running game, we're getting someplace, we're getting penetration in places where, like the first fumble, we get a great kickoff return. We're down around our 30-yard line, and we fumble on our first possession because of the exchange, because somebody got pushed back into the exchange point. And so, it's just one thing that hurts another thing, and before you know it, we're a struggling football team trying to make something happen and not getting it done like we need to get it done.
It feels like the effort has been there, but it's been the execution that's been lacking. How frustrating is that? But at the same time, nice to see that they're at least willing to put in the 110% or whatever cliche you want to use.
Well, I think we got some good kids. I don't think there's anything wrong with our kids. I think it's just something wrong sometimes with our urgency, and sometimes there's something wrong with thinking that not making a full, absolute execution, and somehow it'll come out okay. I can hit the reset button and everything will be okay. And that's just not the case. And I think that's the thing that's most, I don't think there's anything wrong with our kids. I think there's something wrong with how they're thinking sometimes.
Carson-Newman falls at home to Wingate, 29-16. We'll break down the first half when we come back after this on the Ken Sparks Show. Back on the Ken Sparks Show as the Eagles fall in week 8 to the Wingate Bulldogs, 29-16. I'm the voice of the Eagles Adam Cavalier, alongside Carson-Newman head football coach Ken Sparks. Ken, a first half where the first 5 minutes of the game, at least the Eagle defense did some good things. You're ahead thanks to a Carson Wise field goal. But then another one of those stretches that really just turns sour and nasty. 3 turnovers in 5 minutes of game action, and you go from being ahead 3-0 to being down 20-3. What happened in that span?
Well, the same thing that's happened to us all year is just a lack of coming up with making plays that need to be made, or not making some ugly plays that don't need to be made. And we somehow or another, I'm not helping them enough. I'm not helping our kids enough to get a handle on how we're playing, because we're not improving. that part of it. You know, our self-destructive ways are still going on just like they have been all year. And I certainly haven't got us to turn the corner on that, which is really disappointing because we've always been a team of improvement here, you know, but we haven't turned the corner on that part this year.
What was it? Was there a particular moment in that little juncture that was particularly frustrating for you?
Well, I don't think I ever felt like we was out of it. I never felt like that we didn't have a chance to win the ball game. At halftime, I thought we'd come out second half and win the game. You know, the only thing that is most frustrating to me generally about where we are right now is, are we building kids to be successful in life? Mm-hmm. Are we helping them make decisions to grow as people that's going to help them in life? And I know what I'm saying to them. I know what the coaches are saying to them, but somehow or another we're not connecting as far as that part is concerned. Now, how much of it is just 18-year-olds that are still trying to grow up? I know there's some of that, mm-hmm. But somehow or another, I don't think we've completely bought into to getting it done like we need to get it done. Of course, you know, I haven't said this much all year because I don't like to say it because it sounds like an excuse. But we have not had a well football team, mm-hmm. and even some of the freshmen that are trying to play, you know, they're not well. And you know, two starting defensive tackles who, at the first of the year, one was all conference, the preseason all conference. The other one I thought was going to be one of the best players we've ever had, and neither one of them had played. Mm-hmm. You know, and up front, when you start talking about offensive line and defensive line, everything starts there. And if you don't have the people there that you need to have there to get it done, then it affects a whole bunch of other things. So, but we'll get better. We'll keep working at it, and one of these days, that light bulb's going to come on and something good's going to happen.
Eagles down at the break to the Wingate Bulldogs, 26-3, and we take a look at those first half highlights.
In company, two wide, pistol look for Johnson with Hayes behind him. Johnson takes hands off. No, Johnson keeps it left side, and Johnson, that play read well by Ross Pryor. He'll wrench him down in the backfield in the boundary left side, back at the 28-yard line. -6 on the play, and the Eagles have the Bulldogs behind the sticks. Johnson with Hayes to his left, trips wide to the wide side right. Johnson back to pass, three-man rush. Johnson loses the football and just has to hop on top of it. He'll lose yardage back to the 19-yard line. I think it was Phelan Booker who came through. Eagles with a false start on their first play. Now they go long on the second play of the drive. Suber hooks up with Kevin Sneed over the middle of the field down in Wingate territory at the 45-yard line. Sharon knocks him down, but the Eagles air it out for a nice little 40-yard gain. He's been held out for nearly a month with an injury. Snap is back, hold is down. Wise's kick, a nice floater that banks off the dead center of the scissor lift beyond the uprights. The kick is good, and the Eagles have the opening lead off of Wise's 27-yard field goal. Wingate, that is the wide side of the field. Johnson in the gun with Hayes to his left. Hand off Hayes right side. Hayes has the angle across the 10 and 5, and Hayes will sprint into the end zone. Touchdown Bulldogs. Jaquan Smith took an odd angle at him, and Hayes lumbers his way out to the right pylon to sprint in for the Wingate touchdown. A 17-yard haul, and the Bulldogs have the lead 6-3 with two to the short side right. Wimbush and Taylor the split backs, and Suber mishandles the snap, and I think Wingate got on top of it. Indeed, the Bulldogs do. Wingate's Ray Edwards, senior defensive lineman, second-team All-SAC performer from Sacramento, California, quick to hop on top. Johnson with Hayes and McNeil. Snap back. Johnson wants a long ball left sideline. That is complete. His wide receiver keeps his feet and backpedals into the end zone. McNeil out of the backfield grabs it on the wheel route, And one play, 33 yards later, the Bulldogs up 13-3 with 2:22 left in the first with the lead. Suber under center split backs on 3rd and 11. Straight drop for him. He's hit as he throws, and that ball is picked off. Wingate's Morier Johnson on his keister intercepts it at the 35-yard line in the boundary left. And the Bulldogs with a chance to pour it on and extend a 13-3 lead with 98 seconds left in the first quarter. Field, 3 down linemen with Johnson in the gun. Hayes to his right on 3rd and 7. Johnson back to pass, zips over the middle of the field, and that is intercepted. Picked off by Desmond Farrell, ranging his way to the right. He fumbles it, picks it back up, and finally hits the deck up at the 45-yard line. Wallace finally knocked him down. It was...
Those are the first half highlights. Adam Cavalier alongside Carson-Newman head football coach Ken Sparks. Ken, you look at that first half, and even at the end of it, still didn't feel like your team was out of it because the defense was getting enough stops. What was your message as you headed into the halftime locker room?
Well, the same thing, one of hope and the one of challenge. You know, let's go, we can get it done, let's go get it done. And one of based on principles, you know, of if we do what's right, some good things are going to happen for us, and let's go do some things right. And you know, the message doesn't change. Mm-hmm. You know, the results sure haven't been what we wanted them to be, of course. So we got to find out how we can get it done.
You're in a position now that your teams haven't been in ever. Yeah. How do you coach a team that's 3-5?
Well, you don't coach them any different than we always have. You know, we want to make sure that we don't cut corners on them. You know, we got 18 seniors that they've got 3 games left in their career, and we certainly want to try to set an environment for them that 20 years from now they can feel like they've accomplished something. You know, and so and it's a good group. It really is. It's a good group of seniors. May not all be the best football players in the world, but they're good people, and so we'd like to finish something for them, mm-hmm. You know, that includes them. Yeah. And so we keep on. We just keep on doing what we think is right, and don't compromise with effort. Don't let them compromise with effort, and keep working to see what can happen.
Second half breakdown comes your way when we come back after these messages on the Ken Sparks Show. Back on the Ken Sparks Show as Carson-Newman falls to the Wingate Bulldogs in Week 8 of the football season, 29-16. I'm Adam Cavalier alongside Carson-Newman head football coach Ken Sparks. Ken, a second half, we're started to rally. Lane Bloom sets the tone with an interception on the second play of the second half, and then back-to-back methodical touchdown drives for your teams. What did you see differently on those possessions that wasn't there in the first half?
Well, we were blocking the line of scrimmage a lot better, and we're getting better execution out of the quarterback, and getting better execution probably out of across the board, and for the first time, offense and defense were complementing each other. You know, we're going out and getting stops, and offense were going and doing something with it, and that's, you know, that's the name of the game.
Feels like that's been the name of the season. There have been flashes of utter brilliance.
No question. But
then following that, after the 2 touchdown drives, back-to-back 3 and outs.
Yeah, I know.
Is there anything that you can pinpoint that changed in such a short amount of time?
Oh, well, just getting helmet on helmet and blocking the line of scrimmage. That's the main thing, you know. And there's something about getting helmet on helmet that gives you a chance, you know. But when you get helmets on 9 people and 2 people we don't get helmets on, then things ugly are going to happen.
How do you use a game like this to teach people about life?
Well, you know, you never give up. In life, there's always going to be things happen that you don't understand, that you don't like, that you can't even comprehend how they happened. So how do you respond to that? You tuck your tail and go hide in a hole somewhere, or You know, do you respond in a way that, the only way I know how to tell these guys is that we do it in a way that honors the Lord, and do it in a way that He can in turn bless us because of our faithfulness when it's tough. And He's never promised us a time of a lack of negative things going on in our lives. He just promised us that He'd help us overcome it. And so this is an overcoming period for us. And then later on in life, there's going to be some things happen a whole lot more serious than where we are. That hopefully the way we handle this will carry over to how we can win life, because that's the bottom line. Is what we would need to do. We need to win life.
Carson-Newman falters against the Wingate Bulldogs when we take a look at the second half highlights.
Yard, Johnson in the gun with Hayes to his right. Snap back to Johnson. Play fake, rolls right, looks to throw off his back foot. Too tall, intercepted by Lane Bloom. Bloom ranging his way toward the right sideline across the 45 and 40 and dragged down out of bounds down at the 41-yard line by Andrew Strickland. 20-yard return for Lane Bloom, and the defense comes through with a big play. Can the offense give Carson-Newman some hope, trailing 26-3 with 14:07 left in the third quarter? Zuber under center, split backs, takes the snap. He's back to pass, wants the screen, left side, Jones, it's on his fingertips, complete. Across midfield, Jones down the left sideline, 30, 25, 20. Jones splits two defenders inside the 15 and dragged down at the 11. Johnson makes the touchdown saving tackle, but the Eagles dial up the screen, and it goes for 50 yards and a first down. 6 here. Under center, split backs on third and goal. Takes the snap, Suber launches into the air, and Superman gets in. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Noah Suber, back-to-back drives capped by 1-yard quarterback sneaks.
Those are the second half highlights. When we return on the Ken Sparks Show, Michael Watrang shines our Eagles spotlight on Carson-Newman wide receiver Kevin Snead. That's when we come back after this. Back on the Ken Sparks Show, Eagles fall in Week 8 to the Wingate Bulldogs. Time now for our Eagles Spotlight. And this week, Michael Watrang shines it on Carson-Newman wide receiver Kevin Snead.
Over the last 4 years, Kevin Snead has been on 4 different college campuses. The senior wide receiver came to Carson-Newman because of some persistence from a friend that pushed him to run track.
My friend, he played here last year, Darius Morris, in junior college in 2014. He actually was running track before me. And it was like right after the football season, and I wasn't really running. And he kind of invited me out to practice, you know, and like I ran in my first meet, and like I won it. I ran like a 10.6, 10.61. And like the next meet I ran like a 10.5. And the coaches just kept encouraging me to run. So after that, I started getting in offers, and I just kept going.
Snead is an All-American as a sprinter in track and field and holds the Carson-Newman records for the 100 and 200-meter dashes. Track coach David Needs acknowledges the challenges for the senior since stepping onto campus during the second week of fall football camp in 2015.
There's some good challenges, and then there's some things that football definitely can help with. You know, one of the things that is a challenge for track athletes is that they miss that fall preparation time, that downtime where you slowly build back up. And instead they're at a peak performance position because they're playing football. So they really have to carry that for a long period of time so they can get fatigued faster. The good thing though in that is that they get to work full speed and work at full speed all the time. So that some of their quickness, some of their starts are actually better by being a football player in the fall. So it can work together, but at the same time it can also be a challenge to be against some the plan or the purpose you have for a long-term season, like Kevin's, where he'll run all the way till June.
Offensive coordinator Mike Turner called Snead's growth as a football player and as a teammate, quote, extremely impressive. The Richmond, Virginia native was named the fastest man in college football by the U.S. Track and Field Cross-Country Coaches Association of America and is being used as a game breaker for the Eagles.
Well, anytime that you got a guy that's got world-class speed, that's a great challenge to have. That's a fun thing to have because that's a threat the minute he lines up on the field. And I think, other defenses know that when his number's out there, they better get ready to cover because the kid is a talent. He's a great kid and, wants to do well, wants to please, and we're very fortunate to have him.
Over the years, there have been numerous dual sport athletes that played football and ran track at Carson-Newman. Few have had the success of Snead, who wants to continue to improve his times in track and be a playmaker on the football field. Working year-round, Snead offered his thoughts to future athletes wanting to juggle the two.
It's possible, it's definitely not easy, just trying to keep up with your body and just making sure like that everything's right. And this season it's kind of been tough. I've been out for like 3 weeks with a sprained ankle, but it's possible, but it just requires a lot of maintenance and a lot of hard work.
The hope for Snead is that in the spring he is a national champion sprinter. His times rank him as one of the elite sprinters in the entire world. While his athletic prowess is well documented, Needs has one goal above any other for the senior: to graduate.
I will be more proud of him to walk across that stage with a degree because he's bounced around, he's been up against it. And because he's been up against it, the challenges academically are much harder for him than they are from a track standpoint or even a football standpoint. And the best thing that Kevin Snead is going to be able to do for himself is to get a degree.
Snead said that he is thankful and excited for the opportunity to be at Carson-Newman. There have been plenty of days over the last 4 years when he did not know where he was going to go. While his athleticism has seen him sprint into the record books, his life has been a marathon to success. For the Ken Sparks Show, I'm Michael Wattrang.
All right, thank you very much, Michael Wattrang. Ken Sparks, Kevin Snead, a guy who came in as a track guy, fastest man in college football now, and he's given you some explosiveness, a kickoff return for a touchdown, and some plays over the top now as well.
Kevin is a good person, and he wants to be a good football player. And it's kind of like the story of our team right now. It seems like there's some odds against him getting that done. And we just got to keep trying to and be faithful, regardless. I think Jesus said something about take heart. In this world there's going to be a lot of trials and troubles, but take heart, I've overcome the world. And since he always tells the truth, I'm going to hang with that.
Good strategy there.
Thank
Good
you.
strategy.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Ken Sparks, pleasure as always. Thanks so much for the time today.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me be on your show. I appreciate it.
It doesn't say the Adam Cavalier Show. It says
should.
The Ken Sparks Show. Big, beautiful, and bold up there.
Right. Right.
He is Carson-Newman head football coach Ken Sparks. I'm the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier. This has been the Ken Sparks Show. Thanks so much for watching, and join us on the broadcast on homecoming against Limestone at 3 p.m. Saturday. Again, this has been the Ken Sparks Show. Thanks for watching.